Eins, zwei, eins, zwei. Hello. It's about time. So let's start. This is the work program session on photonics, on the Photonics Manufacturing Pilot Lines. My name is Werner Steinhögel. I'm head of sector in the Photonics unit in charge of laser-based technology, but I'm also interested in the other applications. So this is why I'm here today, and I have the honor and pleasure to present you the call on manufacturing pilot lines. I guess some of you, or maybe most of you, have heard in the morning in the opening session that the financing gap is something very important. So in my words, to bring the research which is happening in the labs to make applications and to bring that really into market. And the idea is here that we have a call open on pilot lines, and these pilot lines are exactly meant to help companies who want to use photonic technology to have a better access, to have an incentivized access where they can try out and build demonstrators. So we have actually two topics. Sorry, the slide does not really. Okay, we have two topics. The first topic is on freeform optics, so next generation freeform optics. The idea is to major technology platform and then to provide access to optics which improve, which are based on freeform shapes and on surface finish, which is sophisticated, which is exceptional. And the idea is to exploit new optical materials and combine and integrate different types of optical components. They could be diffractive, they could be refractive, they could be reflective. Sorry, it's going by itself. I apologize for that. And the idea is for the freeform optics to have improved performance and to have improved capabilities. So that's the first topic. The second topic is in the medical field. So the idea is to give, with a pilot line, access to medical device technologies for medical diagnosis. Again, the idea is to major technology platform and to provide access to novel optical-based devices that could be used either for in vivo or for in vitro medical diagnosis. This is an overview. What counts, I should say, is of course what's written in the work program text. You have access to it on the participant portal, so you can look for the details there. But it's just to give you an overview. So, the points to remember. We have two topics, I said, and the idea is to choose at least one proposal for each of the two topics. Of course, the proposal must comply with the excellence criteria. It must be good enough, to say so, to be above threshold. And then the overarching issue is that the pilot line should provide open access to manufacturing. It's either for the advanced photonics components or for the medical devices. And the idea is that the barriers for industry, for companies to try out these technologies, especially for SMEs, should be lowered. Another point is that the pilot line should be validated not just by the consortium, as it would be in a normal innovation project. It should also be validated by external users. So the idea is to attract external users which are interested in the technology, and these users should try out the technology and make use of it. Then, which is actually a challenge, the idea is that also when the project has ended, that there should be a mechanism to make this activity sustainable to the extent possible. So in our words, there should be a strategy that this pilot line can be scaled up, maybe not using the facility which is used in the project, but somewhere else. So to have an idea how this activity could be brought to commercial and high volume production. This brings me to the impact. The idea is that the uptake of photonics technology by end user industry, in particular SME, should help the European industry to become more competitive, obviously. Then the time to market should be reduced by this activity, and manufacturing capability should, a sustainable manufacturing capability should be created in Europe. This is not the first time that we call for that. For such type of activities, we had already 5 calls starting in 2015, which led to 5 in total projects, pilot line projects, and I will come to that portfolio. Here you can see it. So we have 5 pilot lines running. To start with PICs for Life, that's one on photonic integrated circuits, especially on the packaging of photonic integrated circuits. Then there's PiScale, which is on organic LEDs, on LEDs. A third one is called MIRFAB, which is on mid-infrared sensing, integrating sensors on a chip. And then, sorry, I got it wrong. PICSAP is actually on packaging, again, photonic integrated circuits. And the PICs for Life is on silicon nitride technology platform, which has special advantages to be used in health and food because visible light can be manipulated quite easily there. And last but not least, there's a project called ActFast. I guess most of you know. The idea is to support technology transfer from photonics to activities in SMEs. So this is actually the portfolio we have. One pilot line which has just signed now is not yet on the slide. It's one on indium phosphide photonic integrated circuits. So that's kind of the context. These 2 pilot lines which we are calling for now will be belong to. So key actors, actually this, I didn't make this slide, but what is important, this is the pilot line, of course, needs to provide some facilities. That facilities to build such, to drive the technology. It could be in an RTO, it could be in a company, it could be in a university. So technology suppliers are of course important. And you need some industry partners who would use the technology. And then, as I said, the idea is also that the pilot line project would reach out and market the technology and would attract users which are not in the consortium. This is a part of the Photonics public-private partnership, so Photonics 21 is behind that, and they suggested also this. We will have a dedicated information day, so you might know people who could not come today. This will be in Brussels on the 18th of January, and we will organize a dedicated information day where we explain this call and also the other call, ICT5, on photonics components. But on the photonics components, I will also give tomorrow an overview, and if you are interested, yeah, please come at, I think, at 5:30.
And the same information is given as now, or more?
No.
More details?
It's on the other call.
But,
yeah.
In this event, similar information is given as?
Similar information is given as right now, yeah.
And also a brokers event that people can?
Yes, we foresee also brokers, yes, which we do, yes. Thanks for mentioning this. Good, I think that brings me to the end. If you have questions, so my name is Werner Steinhögel. Of course, you can talk to me right now. And the call coordinator is my colleague Dimitrios Axiotis. Good. So this is my overview. If you have questions, we have time. I'm ready to answer your questions. In principle, there's also the possibility, or practically it's also the possibility that you present in 2 or 3 minutes a proposal idea. I checked, so nobody so far uploaded a slide set, but if this is somebody wished to do that, this is also possible.
Hello. In the call text, there was it was saying that it's only open to already established infrastructure. Is there a reason for this?
Yeah. I use this microphone. The idea is that with the limited amount of money, we cannot provide all the means to build up an infrastructure. So if you start from scratch, you would use a lot of the investment to build up the infrastructure. So this will not lead very far. So the idea is that one can use some existing infrastructure.
But even though the funding doesn't come from 100% from Horizon, perhaps a new infrastructure may be used, but still not funded from the project. Would it be possible? Okay.
I think to a certain extent, I check with the colleagues, it is possible. Yeah. But again, saying the idea is that you would use infrastructure that is already there.
Thank you for the presentation. Maybe a quick question. If I remember correctly, in the text, there is a link towards digital innovation hubs, that it has to lead to a creation of digital innovation hub or something similar. Can you a little bit substantiate on this subject?
Okay. The concept of digital innovation hub is something that colleagues start to promote. So the pilot line actually is something where the infrastructure, as the colleague said, is important, where one gives access to infrastructure. As I said, the idea is that this pilot line should be somehow sustainable, that it goes on. And to make it sustainable, one would also need to have a kind of a business model and offer some coaching and so on. And this is where the concept of digital innovation hub, which is an option, it's not something mandatory, but the concept of digital innovation hub could be useful. An innovation hub, and digital innovation hub to be precise, is more than a technology competence centers. I think there was an event recently in Warsaw, and you might know the story. But the idea is also to help the innovators with financing, for example, not doing the financing, but have an idea who could do it and pointing them to the ones who could do it, or with business model development, non-technical aspects that are important to lead to innovation. So these aspects are, for the pilot lines, play also a role. So if you could come up with some ideas, it's certainly useful. But it's not mandatory that the pilot line afterwards will be a digital innovation hub. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for the talk. Ben Loos, Stellenbosch University, South Africa. Could you please comment on the role of photonics in biomedical sensing devices and the support structures or applications? Because tomorrow's session is on application-driven photonics. How that is perceived and what kind of experience or support is provided in that field? So biosensing, biomedical devices, and photonics.
Okay. So first remark, tomorrow I will be more precise because this is on the pilot lines. I make first a general remark. In Photonics 21, there are so-called work groups. So there are 7 work groups, and one work group is dedicated to biophotonics. And it's certainly a very active work group, and we have been called on biophotonic projects since the beginning of Horizon 2020. And to say something, yeah, which is always very difficult. So far, we have a portfolio in Horizon 2020 of per year 100 million euro, yeah, and I would say 1/5 or so, 20% of that is certainly in biophotonics. To give you an overview, so it's quite an active area. Are there more questions? Okay. Sorry, it was not on the slide. I need to look it up. I check, I think order of magnitude 30 million euro. 2 times 15, yeah. But I will have a look.
Then you expect
one each.
of this
Yeah.
magnitude.
Yeah. 2 times up to 15 million. Okay. So I will be still around for a couple of minutes if somebody has a question for, and he wants to ask it bilaterally. I'm around. I'm also around tomorrow, and certainly I think in the same room at 5:30 there is the session on photonics components on the ICT5 call. Then many thanks for your interest and all the best. Good luck for the proposals.